People of Kenya will speak to it through public participation. Others will go and subject it to court processes. That is how a democracy works. And I am a great believer in a democracy. And I will make sure that Kenya continues to be a robust democracy where people speak their mind and we all assist in taking the country where we all want it to be. Even as we transit the country from, the quicksand of debt to the solid foundation of taxes and domestically mobilized resources. We have to do it in a manner that our institutions of governance play a part and are part of it. We make proposals as the executive. The legislature interrogates those proposals. They also, because it's a requirement of the Constitution, they take it for public participation. The people of Kenya inform, because the decision we make as government or as the executive are not final, because the people of Kenya ultimately must speak to every program, every tax that we raise, every policy that we put in place. The people of Kenya must speak to it so that it gives it legitimacy.
Now, activists who were arrested on Tuesday during the Occupy Parliament protests have been set free. Among them is renowned activist Boniface Mwangi and a group of others who are also arrested together with him who have been released. This is a statement that Boniface Mwangi gave yesterday as soon as he was let go.
The principal magistrate for Makadara was shot in a tent. They don't even have enough courts in Makadara, but you renovate in a house that actually exists. It's shame. Members of parliament, have been bribed, but remember this: you work for the people, not Ruto. Ruto does not own you. Nobody owns you unless you allow them to own you. No one can ride your back unless you bend it. And as Kenyans, we are not going to bend our backs for Zakai to ride it. No! We shall not allow ourselves to do that. No! So I know very well that tomorrow Kenyans across this country are going to the streets. Yeah. I can guarantee you we shall be on the streets. Yeah. Tomorrow we are back in the streets. Yes. We have been released without any charges. That means me, Ngati and Shipeta, and Julius was released as well. Julius, our hero here. We are going to Central Police Station to go and take our Mkokoteni. Yes. We know Parliament Road is a road for the rich because they have V8. They arrested us for pulling a Mkokoteni that we own, our own Mkokoteni. Tuko tunapeleka Mkokoteni wakabishika ja Mkokoteni. So kesho tunawaomba kwa barabara, kujeni na Mkokoteni zenyu, kujeni na wheelbarrow, carry those sanitary pads zenye nataka kutax, beba sufuria, beba kikombe. Tomorrow be colorful and defiant. Now, the courts have proclaimed themselves. These courts today, they have reminded Kome and told him it is not illegal to protest. Yes. It is evidence. We were arrested yesterday. Yes. Almost 400 people. There is not a single person in jail for protesting because it is our right to protest. Yes. Article 37. So tomorrow, we don't need anybody's permission to go protest.
We are not notifying anyone.
We are not going to notify anyone. The courts have said, you just tell them you are going, you come and provide us protection. The only person.
The Constitution has notified.
Yes, Katiba Moambia. But one more thing. The only person in hospital with an injury is a police officer who was trying to come and harm us.
Now, Tourism Cabinet Secretary Alfred Mutua has called for level-headedness on the side of protesters as they exercise their right to picket and condemned acts that put lives of other Kenyans at risk, as he has condemned Tuesday's Occupy Parliament demonstrations, saying they were largely propelled by propaganda and sadly caused life-changing injuries to a police officer. Chief Inspector David Karori Maina, who was among officers deployed to quell the demos, lost his forearms after a tear gas canister exploded on him outside Kencom, Nairobi on Tuesday.
Embakasi Police Station, Mildred Amoit Elisha is very serious in hospital right now with chest problems because of being injured in the demonstrations. I'm telling you, really, are these demonstrations, all these fighting with the police, are they worth it, really, when you talk about the finance bill? I mean, Tanzania has a finance bill, Uganda has finance bill, South Africa has finance bill, France, they have finance bills, all the countries of the world have their own versions of finance bills. Do people go there and say Ishe? Do they insult people? Do they break up and cut off the arms of police officers? Police ni watu pia. Police officers are people. They're human beings. They feel the pain. They feel the sorrow. They are working. Wako kazini. At times here we talk to the police officers as if they're not important. They are people. Unatukana polisi na usiku kivamiwa, mtu wa kwanza ni kupigia polisi akuja kuokoa ukiwa chini ya kitanda. Unataka ndio apigwe risasi. So as a country, really, we have to question how we are processing our information and how we are moving forward. You know, this government of William Ruto is a peaceful government. Sisi ni watu wa Mungu. We don't want to hurt Kenyans. We are trying to do the best for this country. So all this propaganda, all this activism, my young people, my beautiful young people, my handsome young men in this country being propelled with propaganda, look at the facts and don't get caught up in activism and in violence that leads to bloodshed. Huyo askari amepoteza mikono, hiyo damu yake imemwagika, is on you, who are demonstrating and causing violence. It is your right to demonstrate, but the violence is not allowed.
Welcome to the second segment, that is the newspaper review. Today we're kicking it off with the Star. Of course, the news on the headlines is Ruto headache as anti-tax protests spread nationwide. Now, if I was the editor of Star, I would have written worldwide, because we're getting support even from Kenyans who are abroad. We have seen the Occupy Parliament posters being held up high by Kenyans who are in the diaspora, saying that they support us even though they are far. Now, the photos there, you can see a woman, a pregnant woman actually, holding a banner saying that the finance bill equals overtaxation. She has listed 10 things, that is bread, cancer treatment, cooking oil, diapers, digital tax, M-Pesa, vehicle tax, solar, and pads as the things that have been taxed by finance bill, and she finds them to be overtaxed. Then there is a photo showing towns where the anti-finance bill demos are scheduled for today. That is, we have Eldoret, we have Kilifi, we have Kisumu, we have Laikipia, we have Meru, Nakuru, and Nyeri. Yes, those towns will also have, and to add another one in the list, Nairobi. Nairobi will also be joining them again for a second time. On the sides, this is a story about a journalist who was arrested and caught up in the crossfires. That is on Tuesday. He retells the tales of that day, but he didn't spend the night in cell or in police custody. He was released at around 8:40 p.m. alongside alongside other people whom he was arrested in there with. They were released after Nairobi Branch Law Society of Kenya chairman, that is Mr. Eric Kivuva, accompanied by other lawyers who came and had them released. Then Twitter power, the Gen Z is how we planned anti-tax demonstrations. All this was planned online through hashtags and photos and messages and group chats. That's how they were able to form this formidable movement or revolution, as others will term it now. DP Gachagua-led agent as UDA set to swallow ANC. More political stories right there at the very back. A man to watch man to watch? Omanyala reveals why his rivals must be worried ahead of the Paris Olympics. Okay, maybe. Daily Nation took a different turn. Of course, there is a photo of Gen Z against the proposed taxes spread to Mombasa. Yes, there is the photo that is there. And then we do have, of course, a photo of Mr. Obado, former Migori governor. Mr. Obado is to surrender 8 properties and 2 motor vehicles valued at 235,600,000 shillings. EACC initially, that is the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, initially targeted more than 2 billion allegedly siphoned from the Migori County government. Because he has agreed to this, the agency has agreed to drop the 2 billion corruption cases against him and his children. That is what the Daily Nation is focusing on. The Standard is talking to us about the UDA death, the Ruto Craft's giant party. United Democratic Alliance, the party that propelled Ruto to power, is on its deathbed. Announcement was made at State House, where it was agreed to fold it up and start a new outfit. Much more on that political story is on the Standard. And that sums up our newspaper review for today. My name is Consolata Chibalonzo. Thank you very much for keeping me company. Coming up next is what I like to call the conversational part. That is, I will be joined here with Mr. Anthony. Mr. Anthony will be talking to us about fatherhood. He is a father, how this journey has been for him, how he has been as a son, because there's no way you can ever be a father if you are never a son. I mean, yeah. So joining me in a few. I do hope that you will also stay tuned.
Said first and foremost, I'm a father of 3 daughters.
Whoa.
Yes, husband to 1 wife. These days you have to clarify.
Yeah, thank you. Female wife. 1
female wife. Yes, it's that bad. But anyway, yes, I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm a mechanical engineer by training. And right now I'm in the digital space. And I also love working with men. So that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome, 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 Sana. Karibu Sana. Welcome. Welcome to EBN TV.
Thank you very much.
So the conversation we've been having this month of June, being the month that hosts Father's Day, you know, we were able to celebrate you last week, that is. And so happy Father's Day to you, by the way.
Thank you.
My first question to you would be, who is a father?
Who is a father? A father is a difficult office, I believe, to describe. And first, I think I'll start with the fact that it's an office.
Yeah.
And you are first the head of a home. You are in charge of not only your wife, but your children.
Yeah.
And all that pertains to taking care of them. So for me, that's how I look at the office of a father. That you can't really pin it down to a particular description.
Yeah.
Because even if I look at God the Father, it's an office that he holds, that he fathers everyone. He takes care of everyone, and everyone goes to him for advice, for care.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at my office as a father. Yes.
So you are a father now.
Yes.
But before you were even a father, you are a son, or
Yes.
you were a son to someone.
Yes, I was.
How was it?
Wow. This is something that I've thought about very deeply, especially when I had my first child. And there was, I can't call it a rumor, there was something going around that was saying that my father and our fathers of our generation were not very good fathers. I think I had a very nice childhood. I grew up in a household of 4, with 2 boys and 2 girls. And my dad was employed first as a businessman. No, sorry, he was employed as a salesman, then he became a businessman. So he was away a lot. But whenever he was home, he was present. He spent a lot of time with us. He was very strict. But I believe he was a very good provider. And I am my father's son. I learned a lot from him. And on hindsight, he did an exceptional job. Because for his generation and with what he knew, he did, I believe he did a very good job. I've had men of my generation complain, oh, my dad was never there, he wasn't as present, he wasn't as loving. But you also have to take into context his time and also who mentored him. So us guys have that advantage now. Yes, so I had a good childhood. Played a lot, got into trouble a lot, got punished a lot. So I really can't complain. And I've taken some of those lessons and I'm applying them now as a father.
Wow.
Yes.
So tell us your journey then as a father now that you are a father.
Okay. As I said, I have 3 daughters.
Yes.
Eldest is 12. I have a 7-year-old and I have a 2-year-old.
Oh.
And it's been life-changing, life-altering. I haven't gone to any school to learn. I hear that there are places you can go and you're taught particular things about being a father. But what I did was, when my daughter was born, I committed her and myself to God. And I said, look, I don't know of any form of schools I can go to learn this, but I believe you can teach me how to raise these children. And Proverbs 22 and I believe verse 6 tells us, if you raise a child in the way they should go, they'll never depart from it. So my whole model of raising my children has been based on the Word of God. Because God is my father. And I realized that if I don't have my foundation in him, then I will not be able to stand as a father or even a husband. So my whole methodology of raising my children is based on the Word, and also from what I got from my dad. So my children get a lot of me. I spend a lot of time with them, as much as I possibly can. And to the best of my ability, I've taught them the Word of God. I believe in the book of Deuteronomy, and Deuteronomy chapter 6, Moses was given the 10 Commandments, and he told Israel that they should teach them to their children whenever they sit down, whenever they're walking. So I try and teach them lessons about the Word through everyday life. And I think it has had an impact on them based on how they behave and even their passion for studying the Word of God. My family is rooted in that. We survive within the context of God. And I believe that's what every family, that should be the foundation of every family. God is not a stepping stone. No. He is foundation. So that's how I raise my family.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So right now, with all this noise that is going on, it is believed, it is not even believed, because I'm not a believer of the same, but people are shouting out here and they're saying they don't see the need of others. Why is it that way? Why has that picture been portrayed of late?
Wow, yes. I've heard the noise. And
it's a noise,
yes, it is a noise, and it's quite loud. It's very deliberate. There's a movement which aims to remove the family unit. And it's very deliberate. And I believe it's because without the family unit, and especially without us as fathers, because we are the heads of the families, kings, priests, prophets, providers, then the family cannot stand. The nuclear family is father, mother, children. So when you have mother, children, there's a problem. And we have seen it. I have absolutely nothing against single mothers, but I have, as I said, I work with men, and a lot of men that have been raised by single mothers, there is a lot that they have missed out on, especially if they didn't have mentors, if they're uncles or cousins, any male figures in their lives, because there's something inherent in, as I said, this is an office, there's something inherent in the office of fatherhood that carries authority, and by simply walking with me, spending time with me, having conversations with me, you learn. There are things that you stop doing because I don't do them. I've realized we all learn by observation best. We can read books, we can be taught, but observation is the best teacher. So if you grow up in an environment where there is no man that you can observe, then there's something about you that will be deficient. And this whole noise is about creating deficiency. And guess what? We create deficiency in the family unit, then you create deficiency in the society. And we can see it.
We can see it. And it's overwhelming, the number of fellow ladies who will just go out and shout, I don't need a man, I'm okay, and they will just give back to children. Like it's like a contract. Just come, give me the seed, and we're done. And it's all good and done. But then I'll reverse the question. Apart from those type who are single by choice, there are others who are single by circumstances. Why are men running away, if I can put it that way? Why are men fleeing the scene of fatherhood?
A lot of factors. The women's liberation movement, I believe, came to disrupt the family unit. Now, it's become so prevalent that with the education that you guys have, which is a beautiful thing, and I want my daughters, as I said, I have daughters. My daughters are going to get the best possible education that I can give them.
Yes, please.
In the midst of that, we missed out on the very fact that, as I said, there are two offices. There's an office of fatherhood, and also in that same context of husband and wife. Now, you cannot, as a wife, come into your husband's office and operate successfully. I believe 1 Peter 3 says that Christ is the head of the man and man is the head of the woman. So there is a structure.
Yes.
When the woman gets too strong, then the males, because I believe they've been subjugated. We keep talking about the boy child, boy child, boy child. Even if you look at the workplace, the opportunities which are there are more opportunities now for women than there are for men. And on top of that, when you add the very fact that the society has lost a lot of our values, our moral values. I was actually talking to some young men last week, and I was asking the same question. And they told me they cannot see any wives out there. They see girlfriends.
Why?
It's because of how you are coming across. When a woman tells you from a dating perspective or in your dating phase that if you do get married, that your money is our money,
and my money is my money.
And your money, the lady, is your money. Already, that's a red flag. That already is already scaring a man.
Yeah, true.
Then number two, there's this issue that somehow I never hear being talked about a lot nowadays of submission. Women struggle with this thing so much. And I'm talking about Christian women, leave alone any other, because this is a Christian station.
Yes.
We Christian women struggle with this. Again, because of how you have been raised, hearing the noise of I don't need a man.
Yeah, of course.
So you're coming here and I'm thinking, so I have agreed to be your wife, yes, but I didn't agree to be a doormat.
What?
Because this thing has not been taught. My definition of submission is power under control. Women are powerful.
Ladies, did you hear that? Power under control. We are powerful. It's just controlled. Okay.
Yes. So, women, in fact, I was looking up, I love reading the Word of God. So I was looking up the word submission. And when God created a woman, he said, I shall give you as a helper to the man.
Yeah.
That helper in the Hebrew doesn't have the same connotation that it has in the English. No. It's actually a support,
Okay.
a rescuer.
Oh, okay, I hear you.
So we have abused the word submission, and it has been taken to our meaning subjugation.
Yeah.
That's what women hear when they hear submission.
Yeah.
You hear subjugate.
Unaona tu, mwanaume akisha kwambia you need to submit, you just see yourself as a maid.
Yes.
And a shamba girl who will never move out.
Doormat.
Yeah, as a doormat, yes.
No. And it's amazing that in the one place where women are most valued, in the church, you have a problem with submission. We men, look at the command that God gave us.
Love your wives.
As Christ loved the church.
That's huge.
That is one of the biggest burdens that I have in life.
Yeah.
That I'm supposed
Yeah.
to love this, my wife, as Christ loved.
Christ. Ooh,
And you still have a problem with submission.
where? That's a chaotic house.
So this is one of the reasons why, because I sit with them and I tell them, okay, this is how marriage is supposed to be. I can't hide to them as, look, this is what God says about marriage.
Yeah.
So now, these are girls out here, they're like, no, we are not doing that.
Yeah.
I had a case where a young man tells me that they get married, early in their marriage, and the wife wants to go on girls' weekends as a married woman. No, he had, and they have a child. Yes, so she wants Friday, I go Friday, Saturday, Nirudi Sunday. Now guess what? He has friends.
Yeah,
He will talk to them.
Yeah.
And they're like, Atinani?
Oui.
Because of why? So why do I want to get into that? Si nibaki tu hapa peke yangu and I do my thing.
Yeah.
That is why young men are running. That is one of the main reasons.
Oh.
People think, oh, it's financial. It's no. It's none of that. A lot of this generation have come from families where they've seen their fathers and mothers grow together. They've worked together towards something.
Yes.
So they know, yeah, we can build wealth together.
Yes.
Majority of the young men now, obviously, I always advise them, have an income. I don't expect you to be a multi-millionaire, but have an income because
Have
you're a
something.
provider.
Yes.
So they already have that. So they're thinking, fine, I want this, but the stories I'm hearing from my circles. Now, in fact, maybe something that you can tell me is, why are young women in that mindset? Why are you people so caught up in, and I believe for me it's a power thing. Why do you want to feel that you have to have control?
I think it's indebted in us that it's not really that we want to have control. I think personally, speaking for myself, we don't really want control. We just want to be heard in such a way that by you hearing me, without making me feel weak, right? If I decide to be vulnerable to you, listen, but whatever, however you will react, just don't make me feel any type of way that you're belittling me or you're making me look or feel stupid. And if you're going to make me look or feel stupid, make sure you also fly in and save the day.
So there is a problem. We agree there's a problem.
Yes.
And it definitely needs to be addressed, because we are going to lose out on, I believe, a generation at the rate at which we are going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Before I even get to, we're taking a short break, and then when we come back, we shall continue with the conversation. If you have any question, you can hit us up on EBN TV. That is across all our social media platforms, that is, be it Facebook, but maybe I'll ask this. you have said it maybe in passing, but I will ask this, that when you're talking about the girl child being, empowered and all, what is happening to the boy child at this time that we are empowering? Because I feel like in some way, it is a phrase that has been used a number of times, and maybe I will reuse it again. The boy child is not empowered enough, is not empowered to know how to stay or live with an empowered woman. Could that be true? Could that be something that is pushing the men away from us?
Yes, to a point, yes.
Yeah, because si wanaume wote, they just decided to move. For others, they just felt like they were being pushed away.
Yes. I'm not against women or girl child. And as I said, it's an agenda.
Yeah.
Being that it's an agenda, it has crept up on us because we were not having these conversations. We thought everything was okay until men began committing suicide.
Yeah.
If you look at the suicide rate in Kenya,
men are high.
Exactly. And that's when people started asking questions. In fact, the one that will always stay with me was a gentleman that committed suicide in Westlands. He was earning, I believe, close to $500,000 a month. And I was like, hold on. How are you earning that kind of money and you decide to commit suicide? And it turned out to be a marital thing that pushed him to that. So we've established it's not money. Because a lot of things, when people talk conversations, they talk about having disputes in the house. A lot of people think it's money, it's a financial issue. No, it's not. A lot of it is emotional. Because if, as a man, a lot of women think we're not emotional people, but we are. It's just that our logic supersedes our emotions, and your emotions supersede your logic.
Yeah.
But we are emotional. And I can take more abuse than you can.
Yeah.
So if you abuse a man long enough, he'll take it, and then either decide, I'll run, I'll fight, or I'll stay and work it out. So you have three options. Now, as you've said, not every man, that's a learned thing. You don't grow up knowing it.
Yeah.
So we are not taught that in this institution, yes, people know there are fights, but what if in an abusive relationship? And for a lot of men, the abuse is never physical. Actually, the emotional is worse than the physical by far, because it'll just chip away from you, your self-confidence, your peace, slowly. Believe somewhere in Proverbs it says that it's better for a man to live on a corner of a house.
Yeah, than with a nagging woman.
Yes. So, and why am I focusing so much on the women? Now, from my conversations with young men, yes, they don't have this information, but they're willing to learn. They're very open to it. David, whom you know, started a group for kings, and right now we're heading towards 200 men in the main chapter. The one in Kiambu right now is heading towards 10 men. It's pretty new. It's less than a year old. And men are willing to come and sit down and have these hard conversations and ask themselves, okay, how are we making this thing work? How are we going to be better fathers? How are we going to be better husbands? But I haven't heard about such groups for women.
The only time ladies come together is to say, men are dogs.
So I believe it should be a concerted effort, especially with churches, that you should actually be very, very deliberate about this relationship thing. People talk about them. I mean, and again, let me just say this. A lot of people won't like me for this, but I don't believe that premarital counseling is adequate to prepare couples for marriage. No, it is not. You can't do 3 months worth of preparation for a lifetime.
For a lifetime.
And especially towards your wedding.
Yeah.
For me, if you were to walk with me, 2 years. 2 solid years
Before.
Because a lot of PMCC happens, and you know this, I'm sure you've had friends who got married, maybe 6 months before.
Yeah.
I went through it, I remember nothing. I was too busy planning the wedding. So you need to do this when you're relaxed. You have enough time. And during that period, you might even decide, I don't see this thing working with this lady.
You're free to pull out.
Exactly. And it'll from an informed position. It's nothing emotional. Same with her. Because you learn that you can look at someone and see, okay, this is where I am as a woman and this is where my man is. During the 2 years, maybe he'll get to my position and you're like, oh, I'm good. And then he may surpass you. You're like, brilliant. But if you do these things in such a rush that you just want, because my focus is on getting this person locked down. Both sides of the coin, you're like, I need to lock this person down. Once you're locked down, then now you begin to show your true self. But during the 2 years, you can comfortably be able to do that, and there'll be no major repercussions. Yes.
Let's get back to fathers.
Yes.
Before we even continue with the men.
Yes.
Because but the men are very dear to me.
Yes.
I don't know. I have that burden for the boy child.
Brilliant.
So let us not go there anymore.
Yes.
Let's come back to the fatherhood part. There are children out here who have been fathered by fathers who are very strict, and in some one way or the other, these fathers believe that, tough love, being strict is the way to go. But then the children who are receiving this tough love are like, my father does not love me enough. I don't think he's a good father. He's not the best. He's just a toxic father. What would you say to such?
Okay. I heard that narrative from my generation. And that's why I said I really had to sit down and look at my dad and dissect my dad. What is termed as toxic is actually love. Let me define it for you now. You have what you've said, a good father. A good father will provide for you.
Yeah.
Dad, I want a new phone. Dad, can I have a car? I can afford it, I'll give you a car. But you're still young. Dad, I need some money. Here's some money. Now, on the flip side, a loving father who asks questions. I just won't give you. So if you have someone that's being raised by a good dad, and you have a loving father, same way with God. God is a loving father. I go to him, Father, can I have $1 billion? He's like, not right now. You don't have the capacity for it. Because why? It will probably destroy me. Same way, a lot of these children, not all, but a lot of them, are equating the good dads with the loving dads. Loving fathers, you will always have to make sure they know what it is that they're giving to their children and why they're giving it to them. Because in my instance, my daughter is not going to own a phone until she's 18.
Finally. Somebody's doing it. Okay. Yeah.
Now that's love, because I know what phones can do to a child. But there are children who are 12, 10 even, that have phones. And that's the reason she even asked me, and we had that conversation. And I explained to her the reason why. So whenever she needs to use a phone, she'll use mine, she'll use the mom's. But you find that a lot of these children, now the ones who already have those things, are considered to be loved because there are no limitations. So whenever you don't put a limitation on a child, it's a recipe for disaster.
Wait. Yeah. All right. So the restrictions that have been put there by the parents, or the no's, or the questions that are there, are because they love them.
That's love.
And not because wanawatakia mabaya ama wanawakatia life.
No. As I said, it's about what your foundation is as a father, okay? If I didn't have God as my foundation, I'll probably do it different. I would have probably given into all those things. But I look at my life, and even the same word of God has put restrictions on us. We have commandments, right? Thou shalt not. Thou shalt not. Otherwise, he would have been, you cheza kama wewe, do whatever. But he says, no. In order for you to work with me, you have to work within these confines. So if you take that template, and I've seen it work, and apply to children, it works beautifully.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, that's new. That's a nice one. I'm still thinking about it, and I'm trying to analyze it on a personal level.
Yes.
I think I'll do that off stage. Anyway, still on the parenting effect, there's the tug of war between, good cop or bad cop, parent, and then it's usually mom ndio wa kelele, dad ni mpole. Is it supposed to be that way? It depends on the parents and how they want to raise their kids.
Now, yes, personality differences are there, but I believe in a home, the father will have the last say. Yeah, your mom will come tell you and we can even sit there. But children, as I said, we have an authority. It's God-given. If you're not vocal in your home, there will be a problem with your children. Your wife can discipline all she wants and literally cane your children. There's something they'll never quite grasp.
Yeah.
On the flip side, these deep voices we have at times work better than even caning.
What?
Yes. There are times I've literally just spoken to my children and they're on the verge of tears.
Yeah.
Yes. Just because it was me.
Yeah.
I can't break it down in a way that can be understood, but when you experience it, you begin to see,
so this is it.
So this thing actually, there's something to this, because the way your children react around you, and when you speak, your word is law.
Yeah.
As I said, it doesn't have to go down to corporal punishment. So your voice needs to be heard. Fathers need to be vocal. We definitely need to be heard. And not only in our homes. Fathers need to be heard out here.
Somebody here is asking, let me paraphrase it. Okay, guys, I know we are friends, but just get into me and give message in a song. Okay. He's asking,
yes.
He's a new dad,
yes.
And he's looking at the kid and he's like, ye lazima apige mtoto. Like haoni venye anaweza raise mtoto bila kumchapa.
Yes.
What would you tell him, or how would you advise him to bring up this kid?
Yes.
Now government is on their necks to say you can no longer beat children. That is a criminal offense.
Is it?
Yeah.
In school or at home?
I know, at home.
Well,
I know.
Then we're going to have problems, because Proverbs 22:15 says, foolishness is trapped in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him. Chapa mtoto. Yes. What I do, this is my method.
Yeah.
And he might copy it or not.
Yeah.
So, depending on the age of the child, especially when they're cognitive, they know when they're doing wrong, and especially when they can communicate, from probably about the age of 3.5.
Yeah.
You call them. They've done something. Explain to them what they've done. Unachapa, but never use your hands. No, hands are for loving.
Okay.
Hands are for nurturing. Chukua Crocs. Kama ni mwiko, chapa. Then after that, use this. Hug them. Mpaka wanyamaze, waambie unawapenda. Children now will begin to understand that there are consequences to everything that I do, but I'm still loved. Sile unachapa unaacha mtoto huko na unatoka. They'll actually now see you as a threat, as an enemy.
Yeah.
Yes. So that works for me and has worked beautifully.
Mesha kumisikia. I will send my mom this link. I hope she's watching. Za mkono nimezipata. Yeah. Za mkono nimezipata. I've lost the contact, but somebody else asked, how is it dealing with teenagers?
Wow, it's challenging. It is very challenging. They are a special category all of their own, because they're not children anymore and they're not adults.
Yeah.
So you have to be more deliberate with teens than even your younger children.
Yeah.
because they are in a transition.
Yeah.
And it has to be handled very carefully. If it's girls, they need to, both parents have to be very active here.
Yeah.
There are things my daughter needs to hear from me.
Yeah.
She's in a place where now she wants to start dating. She needs to understand what dating is. What are the parameters of this dating? What things should she tolerate and not tolerate from boys and men? So again, fathers, very important. There are people, especially fathers like myself, who have daughters. They get to that age, and you throw them at the wife. Like, sasa, deal na hiyo. No. Actually, she needs me more now because she's going to be interacting more with me, my kind, than with the girls. So she needs, and again, parents, please have serious conversations about sex with your children, with your teens. Very important. In this day and age, literally, ile msemo that if you're not taught by your parents, the world will teach you.
But there is noise that teaching teenagers this is introducing them.
Do you know why I didn't? One of the main reasons I said I'm not giving my daughter a phone. There were cases, and have been there, and are still there, in schools, at home, of 10-year-olds watching porn on those phones. In short, there's nothing new introducing to your child.
Yeah.
What you're doing is informing them, again, of the consequences. Because first, it's being taught in school. I believe it's in health education. So they know the basics. But for me, break it down to them.
Word for word.
So they know. And the repercussions of raising a child as a single parent. Let it sink in very, very well. And they'll be way cautious than someone who was just taught the basics. They know, yes, man, woman, child. I'm a man, woman, and you create a baby. No.
It's not just.
It's not just about that. You know, the emotional baggage that comes with it, the social stigma that comes with it. All of that, this teen needs to know for them to make an informed decision. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be with them 24/7. Those mistakes are only made, I believe, when a teen is not informed.
Yes.
And that goes both for the boys and the girls. Even the boys, explain to them that yes, there's a burden you're going to be carrying for the rest of your life. You might abscond. I have no power to stop you. But understand, there's a child out there who's going to be missing a father for the rest of your life because of you. Beba hiyo mzigo.
This conversation is long and it's getting me into a trance. I do not know why. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of questions going on. Are we losing the boy child? Are we losing the girl child? Because in losing the boy child, we're losing the girl child. And in empowering the girl child, we're losing them. It's a circle. It's a circle, and it's the wires are messy.
Yes, they are messy. But I believe that's why we are here. That's one of the reasons I'm here. That I can walk with the young men that come my way, that I can inform them about the true realities of life, of manhood, the responsibilities that you have to carry. And I believe, God is also going to raise ladies who are going to do the same with the women, so that we can bring these people together and we can have a functional society.
Wow. A functioning society. And just to quote your words, you said this when we were opening, you said, if the family is not functioning, the society cannot function. It starts with the family.
Yes.
And the only way this family can be put together is if the head is okay.
If the head is okay, the body is fine.
The body is fine.
Head goes where the body goes where the head goes.
Yeah.
So if I lose it, you all lose it.
Oh God. Hey. Tuna kazi wa jamini, tuna kazi. We still continue with this conversation on our social media platforms. That is EBN TV. If you have my phone number, you're lucky. You can text me direct. EBN TV across our social media platforms. Thank you very much for joining us and being with us during this conversation. I'm sorry about that. Thank you very much. You're welcome again and again. And I'm sure this is just the beginning. We will have this conversation on and on and on. I don't know what's wrong with my eye. I'm really sorry. We will have this conversation on and on and on. Brace yourself for more interviews to come.
I look forward to it.
All right, so as we finish, maybe something for the young men out there who are listening to you, those who are without fathers, and those who you have maybe reignited their hopes of a better generation, a generation that can do better.
Yes. Well, we are here for you. There are networks of men that are working with young men, and you can reach out to EBN. They'll be able to connect you with us. And also in your church, if you're a member of a local church, talk to your pastor if he doesn't have a group that can work with young men, and especially young men that came from single families. You definitely need father figures in your lives. You'll find that within those groups, whatever you do, make sure that you have some sort of mentorship from a man. That is going to transform you. That is going to change you. That is going to inform you of things, male, that you cannot read in a book. You can only understand by being in the presence of men. Yes, that is my message.
Yes, but that is very true. There are things you can't just... And back to just what you were saying earlier, ni kama hiyo PMCC, the premarital counseling classes. You know, there are things you just can't be taught overnight.
No.
You can't be... There are things that just have to be... You just have to rub them on to you. So the best way is to just involve yourself, get involved with men. And as he has said, if you are out there and if you need help, if you need a father figure, if you need tips on fathering, proper parenting, especially for the fathers, my heart cries out to the fathers. Please reach out to us. EBN TV across all of our social media platforms will be able to connect you to Anthony Shege here, or even the David you're talking about, or even Mr. Abraham, who was here last week, but we can do this, guys. We can have a perfectly fathered society.
Yes, we can.
It is you, it is me, girl child, boy child, it cuts across. We all have a part to play. We all have a part to play. Kazi kwako. My name is Consolata Chibalonza. Thank you very much. That is the end of our conversation today. And until next time, I'll see you at 1 for our news at 1. Until next time, God bless.